Hello everyone, I'm back and I'm ready to analyze the new live stream they released for Overwatch 2, Invasion. It might seem slim on new information you can see at a glance, but there's loads of stuff to grab out of this trailer. So without further ado, let's get through this. And first big thing with this gameplay, which is of course the fact that Overwatch 2 has explosive barrels, which this was already foreshadowed in Starwatch, with the special barrels that game mode had that would create a graviton surge, which can make us hope that maybe they're gonna have different barrel types through the story. Since they're like obvious different barrels you can try, like a freezing barrel, electricity barrel, etc. And here we see the first introduction of a new null sector unit, which my friend Retro Owen pointed out. Brick calls this a vulture. So the vulture seems to throw out these EMPs at the player, and since it's a similar visual to Sombra's hack, we can assume it disables your abilities when you hit. In this shot we finally get some kind of look at Brick's outfit. So we can now see she was wearing a Torbjorn made Ironclad Industry suit, which explains the red color scheme compared to a normal orange/yellow color scheme. Here we finally get an even better look at the null sector Titan, which most of you probably recognize from the 0 Hour cinematic. And what makes this enemy special is that we don't seem to be able to attack it directly, but it will still try to attack us. And for what we've seen from earlier gameplay, we need to use some big turret to defeat it. But Torbjorn got something even more special for us. He has built what seems to be an ice turret and a boop turret, which we're going to be able to use to our advantage to fight the null sector bots. We see a new introduction for the artillery unit, which has been moved from the city down to the beach. And in the dropship, they made it so now Brick is one of the possible pilots to fly you to the null sector ship, compared to the 2019 demo where it was Echo that flew you. We see these very cool inside shots of the interior of the null sector ship. And here we can see what's the core of the ship. And likely when you're close to destroying the core, this behemoth unit is gonna get spawned. And we see the light change to red in the escape sequence. And we're gonna get attacked by unfinished grunts. You can see all of them missing a limb. And it shows how desperate they got to kill Overwatch, they'll even throw out the unfinished grunts to kill you. Something we can see running through a lot of the city is this weird power line, clearly designed by Null Sector, which seems to be connected to some type of beacon, which I will take the guess that one of our goals is to destroy these beacons. So it's going to be harder for Null Sector to land their units on the ground. If we look at the Null Sector grunts closely, on the left arm the grunts now have a blade, which they're probably going to use when you're up close and when you shoot off their gun. We also finally see what the ferry is going to look like, which is one of the things we have to protect in the Toronto mission. We also got more information on the event missions, which this mission is going to be non-canon, and every week it's going to have different modifiers change, which I can see modifiers similar to the one used for the Archives challenge missions. And every week we'll have a different hero pool to pick from. Let's start talking about Hero Mastery with my favorite thing. This really cool effect at the start of the simulation, which just having this adds so much to me because it's just such a cool little effect. We see here a few things about Hero Mastery. We see what your objective for the mission is, and the special timer, which this bar goes down, and the lower this is, the fewer points you get for killing enemies and collecting the coins. Which I will get to the coins. It seems one coin is worth 15 points. But of course in this it's 45 because the 3 times multiplier. And hero missions will also have damage numbers, which is hopefully also part of the new firing range. So you just have an easy idea of how much damage an ability or weapon does. We got this great new training bot, which is massive. And the barrier it seems to be using is the Reinhardt barrier. But it's not the only one. Here we also see what is sniper training bots. And later in the presentation we have these bomb training bots. So that is a good variety of new training bots to fight at least. Something very exciting we see in the Hero Mastery gameplay, they updated Winston's right click. After it hits an enemy, it will jump to other enemies afterwards. Which I'm assuming this is going to be a change in only the PvE missions, which that's going to make it really good against crowds of enemies. A strange new thing at Winston's Leap is that when you use it, this new meter comes on screen, which just seems to build up the more Winston's in the air. And I'm just going to take the wild guess that this probably means that Winston's Leap could deal more damage the more airtime he has. And I'm just going to say that this is probably also just for the PvE missions. So you don't have to worry about a Winston dealing 200 damage when he lands on you. And finally we see what the finish line is going to look like, which is just super simple. It's just a big doorway that's lighting up. Something very cool is here in the Tracer gameplay. we can see our pistol clip has been increased to 60 bullets, which is very similar to the Rio demo, that she was given a PV specific change of having more ammo. And since this Tracer changed and Winston's getting changed for PV, there's a good chance that other PV changes are here too, like Lucio's ability to knock enemies into walls with his boot to stun them. But that's enough about hero mastery. Let's get into the final thing from the stream, Flashpoint. We get this great top view of Servasa, and we can see 3 of the control point locations here. Here in the middle of the map we got control point A, and since the control point is placed here, I can assume that it's going to be the first control point you always fight over for the first point. Then here in the bottom right we got objective B, which we sadly don't see much gameplay of, but it did seem to appear in one of the trailers. And then we got objective C, which is here in the bottom left, which this point we see way more gameplay. And a big feature of this point is this fountain in the middle, and this high ground people can use. And of course what we can't really see in this frame is objective D and objective E, which objective D is located up here in the top right, which you can see by how everything's painted blue, like here up in the top right. And of course the only point left is objective E, right here in the top left, which we can see by the fact they use colors like green, orange and brown. And of course we can't forget what seems to be the forward spawn for both teams, which are located here and here near objective A. And now we get to New Junk City, which has a similar structure to where everything is placed. We got point A here in the middle, which is the arena. In the bottom right we got point B, which is the vents. Then in the bottom left we got the refinery. And sadly in the stream we don't see gameplay of objective D and objective E. But if we assume the points are placed similar to Servasa, this is going to be objective D. And looking from the trailer gameplay, here it is. And it just seems to be some scrapyard with some metal and boxes. And then we got objective E, which seems to be a housing style area with small sheds people live in. And of course with the big building in the middle, which is likely going to be the objective itself. And to not forget, this is the location of the forward spawns for both teams, which is similar to Servasa, they're placed right next to objective A. So Flashpoint looks like it's going to be a very interesting mode in how the maps are designed. They seem to be very big fun locales. And with how varied the objectives are, it's going to be loads of fun to try it out. But that's basically everything I dig up from the stream. Season 6 looking very cool and very fun, and I can't wait to actually explore these maps in the near future, be it the story mission maps or these new Flashpoint maps. But that's everything for now. Have a good one everyone.